I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Hank Williams Jr. says gay guitar pickers don't turn me on, and that's how I see it.
Oh shit!
This was for the home team. This was for the home team.
Hey, welcome to Tailgate Beers here. We've got Austin and Ryan as usual. Tonight we're sitting down with one of our friends here, local from the Peoria, Illinois area. He's playing at Cruisin's, West Peoria, Farmington Road, tonight, Mr. Isaac Durst. Isaac, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Good. So playing here tonight, you're not a stranger to the stage here in Farmington Road or on Farmington Road, Cruisin's. What are you looking forward to tonight specifically?
Having fun. I think that's as a band, that's our number one goal. Every time we get on stage, we want to have some fun up there. Want to put on a good show and make sure that everyone that comes out has a good time as well. So probably, having fun, staying tight, and, getting the job done.
Good deal. So you're, like we said, a Peoria area guy. Where exactly in Peoria are you from, or where you go to school and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so are we talking currently, or are we just talking all around?
Anything, yeah.
So
Where'd you
currently
grow up
I
at?
stay in Peoria right now. I grew up split, so when I was a kid, super young, out North Peoria area, and then more so from the age of I want to say maybe 5 to 13, I lived in Edwards for a good stint, and then back to Peoria, closer to school. So
what made you? I mean, kind of growing up in Peoria. Peoria. I mean, we have some music scene here, but it's not like a large, huge gathering within the music industry. What made you get into it and really put a lot of effort into getting your name out there?
I mean, kind of starting out, I was in the choir room doing some homework in high school, and I got caught by the choir teacher, and she was like, "You can sing," and I was like, "Dude, I'm mortified. I wouldn't sing in front of anybody for my whole life. I was afraid to sing in church." And then she had me try out for the musical theater play or whatever, and got a role doing that, and I did that for a solid year, and I hated the acting. I just liked singing, and then I quit that, and then my pawpaw, actually, I got his guitar from my grandma when he lost his memory, and he had always, huge country fan, and I can get into more detail with that later on, but yeah, so he gave me the guitar, and then I taught myself and learned some Alan Jackson tunes, and played for, during COVID, I played, it was the first year that I was getting into it was 2019, 2020-ish, and I played for 4 hours a day every single day of the year, and then after that I maybe toned it down quite a bit, but yeah, I started doing that, hit an open mic in town, got sent out to the Country Saloon in East Peoria, and then the rest is history, and now we, play shows all over town, and yeah.
How did this come about with the relationship with Cruisin's and Wayne? I mean, assuming you just grew up here and so you saw shows being played down here all the time and you reached out, and then what was your first show down here?
Yeah, it's a weird story. So it started out it was just me and me texting Wayne on Snapchat, and I was like, "Hey man, I'd love to open sometime." He had no clue I was. It was maybe a year into this, and so I texted him, I was like, "Hey, can I open?" And he was just like, yeah, whatever, kind of just, being nice. And then my dad apparently was in some golf group with him for a couple of years, so knew him as well. And then he was like, "Well, I know your dad, I know you, and I've heard your stuff, you're pretty good, I'll give you a chance." And then brought us down here to play a show, and I didn't have a full band at the time, and played a show, and then opened a few shows for some, very, very cool people around here. And then now, we've been playing stints as the main headline act for the last 6 months now. So
how often are you playing live around here at this point? I mean, is it fairly regularly?
Full band, maybe once or twice a month, and then solo shows here and there. Probably, weekly, I would like to say, solo shows. It's just not as much as it used to be. I'm trying to go for more quality over quantity these days.
You're still using your Papa's guitar? Is that your main guitar, or you kind of have gotten additional guitars? I assume at this point, but you still have that one in the collection.
Yeah, so it's at home. I write all my songs on it. I told myself if I ever get to play the Ryman or the Grand Ole Opry, then I'll try and mic it up somehow and use it to play, because it's the reason I exist as just a person in general. My grandparents met through that, and my grandpa played her song on the an old country song on the guitar, and the rest is history. So
it's an old acoustic that I mean, did you grow up like watching him or listening to him, string a little bit, or how was that?
yeah, so I honestly didn't. The sad part about it is I didn't really get to know him much as a person, just because he didn't have his. I mean, he lost his memory when I was, maybe in the age of 5 to 8, So I didn't really get to know him. I know, the shell of who he was as a person, and I know stories from other people, but being around him, like I just remember a couple stories, but it was just a thing to where it's like, it kind of sucks, but. I didn't even know that he, played at all until I started singing, and my grandma came up to me and was like, "Hey, you should, your papa, he played, you should. Here's a guitar," kind of thing.
Wow, that's awesome. And so around here in Peoria, I mean, obviously we've got several different venues, small and medium, and a few large there. Are you able to keep busy basically here in the Peoria area? Are you branching out at all, or getting to other cities around here?
Yeah, I think right now what we're trying to do as a group, as a band, is play out of state, out of town for sure. Like we've gotten to Macomb a couple months ago. We played Macomb. We played the Ice House over there for Western Illinois,
Yeah,
like
big college town. Yeah.
Yeah, they got some frat over there that wanted us to play, and awesome guys, by the way. Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
But I mean, back when I was playing solo stuff, I got involved with some manager guy, and he got me out of state for the first time. We played Kansas City and then Omaha, Nebraska, and ever since then I've been wanting to get back out on the road. It's just we got to put music out, and we got to get some type of booking agent, because I can't book it all on myself. I don't have enough contacts. So,
and I assume too that, I mean, you have other jobs that help pay the bills too in between, working that kind of schedule, so that makes it also difficult.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of odd jobs in the last year. I worked concrete at Morton Buildings for a couple months, and that was a fun experience. It's a good company. They had me, I was doing the pillars. I was,
okay.
The actual concrete pillars we were filling, like making the molds and filling them up, and we'd come in there every day. It was just super repetitive. And
they still using the robot to weld a iron that goes inside of those pillars? Do you know? Were you inside there?
That's a good question. Are you talking about the rebar?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because there used to be a station that spins around and it welds these frames, and they drop it down in, and then they put it in the concrete.
So I have a funny story about that, because I worked at Fab for a month. They sent me over to Fab, and they had me over there for quite a while. And when I was over there, I was the checker. So basically they'd hang up those racks, right, on this big line, and they'd paint them with this like powder coat kind of paint. And we'd have to check them for missing welds, because the robot would miss welds all the time. And so it was a pain in the ass, because half the time the people that were welding, they'd miss welds, and people would get fired. The robots would, I mean, dude, I know a guy over there who works that he just doesn't check the welds. Like, he gives it to the robot, plays on his phone, grabs the sets them on the rack, sends it to us without even checking. So we'll send back 12, 15, maybe 20 of those kind of rebar plates, I guess is what you want to call them.
Yeah.
Forms, maybe. It's been a couple months, so. But yeah, it's,
So where are you at now, work-wise?
So right now I'm in between jobs. I just left Guitar Center. It was a temp position. And I am either going to take a position at Sunrun selling solar, or I'm trying to get a plumbing job somewhere. But I have experience all around, concrete, landscaping. I have some carpentry experience as well. So it just kind of depends on where I want to apply.
But working at a Guitar Center, and we don't get into the details there, but that's also got to be helpful as far as being around music, obviously, all the time. Sharing your passion and what you've learned over the years and all of that with, customers that are walking in and looking at upgrading equipment, all of that. So that had to be something that, was easy.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, just because that is something that you're obviously into.
Yeah, I mean, in sales position, I sold insurance for Country Financial for like a solid 5-6 months, and then music started getting busy, and I was like, I can't really work this job at the same time. And a lot of my job experience in the past couple of years has been, okay, I get a job, things start getting too busy music-wise, and I get overwhelmed, and I'm like, okay, now I need to choose one. and then I choose music, and then it starts slowing down again, and I'm like, okay, I need a job again. You know, it's like, I mean, it's probably just an excuse, you know, but at the end of the day, I just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I want to be doing this, you know, that's what I want to do full time. It's what I'm best at doing, but definitely need to have a job to pay the bills for sure.
And so, how does that thought process go? I mean, a Peoria, Illinois kid, not necessarily. This isn't Nashville by any means, to where everywhere you turn there might be an opportunity that exposes itself. What is that next step for you to be able to get to that level to where you're doing music full time?
I think getting in the studio is definitely 100%, the next step in the plan. Getting some music out, I've had for the last 2 years. Hey, are you on Spotify? Are you on Apple Music? Because no one considers you a legit artist until you are, for some reason. No offense to anybody else that thinks I'm wrong there, but I know a lot of good artists that aren't out on all platforms. There's a guy named Matt Anderson who plays guitar, and he does solo shows. He's been doing it for 10, 15 years, and he doesn't have music out as far as I'm concerned. Putting music out, connections is another big thing too. Just meeting more people, like meeting Zach, like when I opened for him here, that was massive. Meeting Braxton, another name. Like I'll just go out to shows sometimes, and I'll wait by the tour bus afterwards just to talk to them, and it works.
So when you said Zach, I'm assuming you meant Zach Top?
Yeah.
So you opened for him. I mean, that had been a heck of experience, and he certainly has taken off, probably even more since then. But
yeah,
a lot more.
Yeah.
He's on another planet now. It's good for him. He deserves it. He's been doing it for 15, 20 years, ever since he was a kid, and to see him finally get his success is...
Well, it helps when you have a dad like, what's the joke going around? Alan Jackson.
Alan Jackson.
Yeah.
It's a good one. I've seen them, dude. I see those clips all the time.
It makes me laugh every time, even though I know it's not. And I'm
I did
always,
just
and
see
then the
that.
conspiracy theory, somebody like connected the dot. Like Alan Jackson was in this town, which was only like 30 minutes from where Zach Top was born on this date, which 9 months later.
Yeah. He does look a lot like him though, and it might just be the mustache.
On the sound and his all demeanor and all that stuff. Kind of funny.
He's nuts. He's nuts. And I honestly didn't know that he was all that, I didn't know that he was as insane of a guitarist as he was when I found out. Like I knew the dude could rip on the guitar, but I didn't know that he was, pushing Billy strings, giving him a run for his money, because I saw that clip of Freeborn Man. He played that in Dothan, Alabama, and that was nuts to see that. I can't even imagine my fingers moving that quickly. So
that's wild. Yeah, I didn't know he was that good either until he played, as far as guitar wise.
So the dreams and aspirations previously, and maybe not today, but did they start off being more of a guitar player, or was it always singer first and being up to play enough acoustic or a guitar to start something?
It was singing. Singing has always been, I started out singing. That's how I got into music in the first place. Always been a fan of country music. I just never really sang it until I picked up the guitar, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to start doing the stuff that I know and, I love to do. And I picked up the guitar to learn it to accompany me because I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to be a karaoke singer, I feel like if you're not doing it professionally with a band that's backing you, and you're singing to a backing track, you're portrayed as a karaoke singer. And so I just picked up the guitar and was like, I want to learn. And then eventually it turned into I was, listening to clips of Billy Strings and watching Sturgill Simpson. And then I was like, I want to play like that now. It was more than just the cowboy chords. So
where do you see some similarities in your voice or your style of music of what else is out there?
About a month ago, I don't think I could answer that because my originals were just, I wouldn't even call them country. I was just writing stuff down and I was just putting chords to it. Like I wasn't trying to write a country song. I wasn't trying to play within, my zone of what I'm good at doing. And then it got to the point to where now recently I'm starting to find my flow, find where I kind of belong in the industry. And I think it's more of like a good mix of 49 Winchester, maybe a little bit of Sturgill, just in terms of that honky tonk sound. And honestly, just country. That's the best way I can put it, because I've always been a listening wise. I've always been a huge fan of actual country music, a huge truther for real country music, and I just see anything else as not worth my time.
What were your thoughts on when Oliver Anthony came out and fired shots?
Oh, at Parker?
Yeah, and music music industry in general.
Was it ever confirmed anywhere that it was at Parker? I mean, I know it was like whoever played after me at this festival.
Yeah, I don't know if it's confirmed, but I mean, it was shots at everybody.
Right, no, absolutely.
It was definitely confirmed. It was 100, because I saw the clips afterwards, and Parker was saying something about he played some big festival, and he was like, I can promise you it's not auto-tune. And you look back at the festival Oliver was talking about, and I don't know what goes into his production. I know he's got a great voice. I got nothing bad to say about Parker McCollum. I got nothing bad to say about Oliver Anthony. I think they're two different spectrums of country, and I think Parker McCollum is a lot more country than a Kane Brown,
For sure.
It's not in terms of, who's more country, who's this, who's that, is who's listening to tradition, who is bringing back tradition in music, because a lot of country music is tradition, it's history, it's looking back at, the roots of it, your Lefty Frizzell's, your Keith Whitley's, your George Straits, and saying, okay, how do I take what they did and turn it into something that I'm going to do? Because if you just completely ignore that, you're not going to be making country music. You're just not. You can't be a country musician and not know a Hank Williams song, in my opinion. Like you gotta. It's just like a a playbook. You wanna be a good football player, you look at the greats. You want to be a good basketball player, you look at the greats. You don't just figure it out on your own. You gotta look back.
Oliver Anthony, I mean the song was awesome, but I've never been like a big fan of him, and like how he stirred the pot and some different things. And then when he made those comments, he's also one that sits there and bashes the industry on one hand, and then in the next he's quoting astronomical numbers that I'm like, wait, you're sitting here saying that you're never going to do this, but then on the next hand, I know it because we've straight up quoted it, and your numbers are outrageous, and you got sucked into the industry. But then on the next, on your social, you're going to bash how the industry is going. And I also know there's some really great artists that, okay, so what? So Parker has the choice to use tracks at a certain point, or he just cancels the show. He cancels the show. I mean, some of these guys are performing. I mean, how many times? I mean, how even like Josh Ross had said how many times how much he'd travel, and you're trying to put on all these shows. You're sitting here talking about pushing water, being here.
Yeah.
When you've got an opportunity to run some tracks, keep it going. Like, dude, it is part of the industry of you'll get slaughtered if you go out and shit the bed. And I mean, look at what's going on right now. Bailey being trashed and sounding like shit, and everybody's complaining about it. But then I don't know. I kind of see both sides. I also think like Parker. I mean, there aren't too many real, true, probably cowboys or like that Texas country like left that are out there. And dude, he's pretty fucking country.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not totally siding with it, but I just was curious on your take in that saga of it all, and it's definitely a controversial thing right now.
And I'll add to that. I agree with you on the whole Oliver Anthony thing. I think he makes country music. I do. And, I'm not the end all be all for what is country, what isn't country. I mean, shoot, I, grew up, for a good portion of my life in the suburbs. Like I'm not really, in terms of where I lived, not in terms of my hobbies and all that stuff, but in terms of where I lived, I'm as far from country as possible. And, which I'll get into that in a little bit. But when it comes to Oliver Anthony, it's like I saw that thing that happened with Cotton Eye Joe's in Knoxville, Tennessee, when he had a 1,200 person venue. He got mad at the venue for charging $100 a ticket when he was asking for like $48,000 for the show.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, you can't be complaining about ticket prices.
Pot meat kettle.
Yeah, it's like right? Yeah, like you wanna complain about all this stuff, man. Just like all it takes is basic math. Like, a 1,200 person venue, you're going to have to sell tickets for, a pretty penny in order to make what you want,
100%.
Let's take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Surfside. Austin and I love our Surfside, and they pay some of our bills. So let's give them a quick shout out as well.
Can I actually get one of those, the tea and lemonade?
You'd like this one, the iced tea
I mean,
lemonade
shoot,
vodka?
yeah, why not? I'm a
That is
big,
one of my favorites.
big Arnold Palmer guy, so
This
works out.
If you're into a green tea, this is kind of becoming Ryan's new favorite. Is the green tea.
Green tea has become my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure even the green tea has, it's 100 calories, 0 grams. I thought even this had some caffeine in it, but I don't
It's
remember.
subtle too. It's the taste. It's really it's smooth, So
No, we love it, and we kind of do. I don't know. We can kind of throw this segment in here since we were kind of talking about it because I feel like we can maybe get off the rails here. You're on your Isaac Durst private jet.
There's
and
no
you
way.
are, and you
never know.
are flying probably somewhere tropical, maybe an island you bought.
it'd be cool.
Plane starts going down, and you just happen to pack every album known to man. Okay, what 5 albums are you taking with you to listen to for the rest of your life, and you're never going to listen to anything else?
Are compilations included in those albums? So like, how some artists have the essentials? Can we include those?
Here's what I've said, and I'll be as lenient as you want. We've had people not even answer. Here's what I said, and by the way, the plane is going down rapidly at this point. But if it was made into a CD, let's say, okay, if you can go on and you can buy it as a CD, so greatest hits, Brooks and Dunn's greatest hits. I'll use that as an example. That was a CD. Okay,
Can I check to see if it's
I will allow it, but the plane is now about
Phoning a friend.
I'm definitely
38,000
phoning
feet.
a friend for sure.
Yeah,
Hold
I've
on.
never had a phone a friend yet, but
While he's doing that, I just if you saw on camera, I just reapplied my lipstick. My goodness, I just
Oh
reapplied
my
my
God.
chapstick with my
There's only-
Surfside chapstick.
It's a vinyl.
there's only two genders nowadays, so
We heard that.
you're either
yeah.
putting
Yeah.
lipstick on as a
Chapstick.
woman or your lipstick as a man.
We let the editors take care of that one way or another.
So I think my number 5 is Metamodern Sounds and Country Music by Sturgill Simpson. You got Long White Line on there, Turtles All the Way Down. Just a good all-around album. I'm a huge Sturgill Simpson fan. I saw him twice last year. It's completely nuts. The best live show that you will ever go see. If you ever get a chance to go see Sturgill Simpson in concert, don't walk, run. It's
Love it.
phenomenal. Number 4, this isn't in order. I'm just,
We counting down or counting up?
I don't know.
Sounds
I'm
like
just
we're
kind
counting
of.
down. We're starting
I'm
at
just
5.
listing off 5, and
I was like, did I miss the
This
other
is also
3
a
somewhere?
first.
we're gonna list them off in the same equal kind of pedestal.
First-time podcaster, long-time listener. So we got
Keith
Sturgill.
Whitley.
Okay.
Keith Whitley's greatest hits.
Okay.
I'm a huge Keith Whitley fan. So that's definitely 2 on there for me. Ooh, that's a good question, man. I'm thinking.
It doesn't have to be all country. It doesn't have to be the same genre. It could be anything. It could be something you grew up on.
You're the only one that's gonna be listening to this for the rest of your life.
Oh
so.
yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go with for 3 because I don't want it to be all country because as much as I love country music, I do like a little bit of everything. I've been for the last year I've been listening to a lot of like yacht rock. So like maybe some Player, maybe some Baby Come Back,
Oh,
maybe
gosh.
maybe that, that.
Oh yeah.
Just it's a good vibe. It's when I'm lifting, in the gym or whatever, I just like it's nice and relaxes you a little bit. So and then my last 2
Yeah, we're skimming water at this point.
probably George Jones.
Okay.
Just in general as a person, give me any one of his albums. But specifically if I had to pick one, probably his album with If Drinking Don't Kill Me, because I really do. I think George Jones is probably one of the greatest country artists of all time.
Oh yeah, in his prime.
In my opinion, and I don't think anyone will ever beat him out because I just see him so highly as a musician. But number 5, oof, man, y'all are really making me think.
I mean, it's filling with water at this point. You didn't even need the parachute.
It's okay. It's okay. I take my time.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
if I die, I die, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got to make a decision on this 5th album though.
Yeah. No, I'm probably gonna have to go with Fortune Favors the Bold 49 Winchester. They got Annabelle on there. Just a bunch of good songs. I love 49 Winchester. I think they're great. I think they're
I do too.
awesome.
I seen them. I was out in Boston for my real job. I don't know, probably back in August time frame, and they happened to be playing there. And called my buddy Austin here, who made some networking connections for me, and was able to get me in because I think it was sold out.
No joke.
Was able to get me in just out there randomly on a Tuesday night in Boston. and their show was phenomenal.
They're so good, dude. And
Loved it.
are you gonna go see them? They're opening up for Dwight Yoakam in Bloomington in March. I'm going to that show.
Really?
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
49's
Dwight-
opening
I
up
love
for Dwight
That'd be a good
Yoakam,
one.
and I'm going to be there because I love Dwight Yoakam and I love 49 Winchester. It's a win-win.
Go back to your maybe possibly controversial statement of George Jones. So you think he's the greatest?
Yeah,
Really?
without hesitation.
What would be your next two?
Keith Whitley
Okay.
and Hank Sr., pioneers. I personally believe if Keith Whitley never passed away, he'd probably be considered the king of country music, and I'm not ashamed to say that in any way.
Where do you rank King George?
4
Okay.
in that list. 4.
Wow.
Yeah. I know it's
I'm
controversial.
not biased to any one way or the
no,
other.
But I'm just
curious.
saying, like, Hank Sr., I mean, that is country music, You wouldn't have a George Jones without a Hank Sr. And in my opinion, you can't tell me that George Jones is not one of the greatest songwriters of all time in country music. If Drinking, Don't Kill Me. I don't know if he wrote all these songs, but, if Drinking Don't Kill Me, He Stopped Loving Her Today, the Grand Tour. I mean, you could list off, Take Me. That's a deeper cut.
Who do you think is this generation's George Jones, George Strait?
Chris Stapleton.
Who takes that? Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
I think he's so good that he doesn't even have to be considered country. He's never really tried being a country artist. I think Zach Top could get there one day. I think Zach is really good. I think Billy Strings, But, outside of that list, I don't know how else you could mention newer. Maybe I don't know about Tyler Childers, but at least not nowadays. But back when he was still, doing the thing, I think if he kept on that trajectory, he probably would be in that realm too. But I think it's for each subgenre, you got bluegrass country, that's Billy, traditional country, that's Zach, and then just all around Chris Stapleton. He's got probably one of the best voices in country music right now, in my opinion.
See, I have mixed opinions on Stapleton, but I actually think that he doesn't get enough credit at times, and then there's other times that I look at it and I think, I don't know, I don't really feel like he's done that much. At times I think he goes away for a while and you just don't even hear about Chris Stapleton for a while. A lot of it is how present they are on social media, is the world we live in today, of are they relevant or not, and radio versus non-radio. I think radio is dying in a certain way, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying Chris Stapleton isn't good.
I'm going to put it like this, you listen to a song like Either Way or, Whiskey and You, and you can't tell me that those aren't, some of the greatest songs ever performed and written of our generation,
Yeah.
my generation at least, and maybe some of yours as well, because you guys are, Stapleton,
What are you calling us?
2010s.
You
I didn't say
where are you
nothing.
going with this?
I
I think
didn't
it's
say
called us
nothing.
old.
Hey,
I think so
basically.
too.
Don't
But-
quote
and
me.
you know what? Again, I am biased on mine of the fact that I think Morgan Wallen's going to be hands down one of the greatest, and I know you're not going to like that, but
I think that Morgan Wallen will be one of the greatest rappers or pop singers, but I don't think he's a country singer.
and I definitely country wise, I can see where he definitely is not. He's not Chris Stapleton country. He's not George Jones country. He's not that level. But I don't know, man. He's
As
pretty-
a person, he's pretty damn country as a person, but I think some of the music he makes, I will say he's got 4 or 5 good ones that I like listening to, so I can't hate on that. But I think you put Morgan Wallen next to Chris Stapleton.
Band-Aid on a bullet hole,
It's a good song.
Wasn't even out there as one of his top ones. That is
It's a good song.
The
fucks
dude
in so many ways. Wasted on You, and
Yeah, but
picks
you
up,
put a trill beat on Wasted on You and it ruins the song. Like, he should have just played it acoustic.
his recent one, that Smile. First time I heard that, I was like, this is weird, and then all of a sudden, like, dude, his voice is pretty fucking good.
My thing is everyone has their own take on what they like, on what
Oh,
type of
100%.
country they like. And some people like the poppier
Yeah.
country, and I can't, I can't hold you
And
for
I
that.
listen to guys or gals come through here all the time and just love or shit on all sorts of different people. Zach Top being one of the top ones, going, sucks. Yep, I'm better than that person.
Zach Top did that?
Fuck yes, dude. That dude knows he's fucking good. He knows he's
Dude, no,
fucking good. I remember asking people questions about that oh, I'm better than that person.
That's
I do. At the
hilarious.
end of the day, you also do get to a certain level where you got to have that mindset of like,
You do.
I mean, think about like basketball or any other sport. Fuck yeah, I'm the best running back, or I'm the best quarterback, I'm the best point guard.
I mean, there's a difference between confidence and cocky, as well. And I think Zach's definitely got that confidence.
But it was hilarious, and I listen to people all the time talk all sorts of mad shit, and it is very interesting.
Can you blame him though? I mean, he is realistically better than I would say 90% of that wall.
And I don't disagree.
You
But
know,
I also have times where other people have come in and then say, yeah, I don't know about Zach Top. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But again, it's to each their own, because everybody has their own taste in music.
You know.
Everybody has their own top 5,
Yeah.
if you will, of the greatest, or who's going to be great. I mean, I've had people come in here. I'm like, I don't even know how you just sold this fucking room out. I'm like, dude, great people, whoever, but then
Yeah.
the other times you're just like, it's not for me.
Well, I mean,
Jelly Roll's one where I'm like, it's not what I fucking play. It's not in my.
Yeah.
It's not even in my top 20. Him as a person,
Great
love,
person.
amazing, kind, love all of it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't necessarily fall in my top. Now he may say, "Fuck yeah, it's in my top 10."
I would say, Jelly, if you're listening, you are in my top 10.
Yeah.
Jelly.
Yeah, Jelly.
I love you.
His ass.
Dude, Jelly's awesome, man. He's a good guy, and he's talented. He's got a good voice on him. I can't really say that I listen to a lot of his music because, like I said, I'm a trad guy. I'm a very honky tonk guy too. I love the Whalens, the Willies, the Whitey Morgans.
But going to a concert for me, I may not listen to it, but when I go see him play, I'm like, holy shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he's so good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's to each their own of, what is country and what isn't and all that shit.
But seriously, you're gonna. I'm just gonna real quick.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
here,
gonna real
I got
quick
it.
for
Here we go.
everyone out
Here
there
we go.
that's listening. So you're gonna tell me that you sit Morgan Wallen next to Chris Stapleton on a stage, and Chris Stapleton doesn't blow him out of the water? I mean, come on.
I think Morgan Wallen is way more diverse than Chris Stapleton. Morgan Wallen could play the most country ass song to he could be more pop and all of those things.
I'm just gonna disagree. I'm gonna agree to disagree with you on
that's
that
fine.
because I could go for hours on this.
See, I just never fell into the Chris Stapleton. I mean, again, I love his song. Don't get me wrong. I
mean,
love
dude,
it.
he's
It's
got
just-
the best voice in country music right now, and he's been like that for the last 10, 15 years. Dude, he
know.
blows Morgan. Morgan Wallen isn't even in the top 5 for the best country music voice right now,
agree to disagree.
in my opinion. I
agree
think
to disagree.
I think as a songwriter and as a performer, I think, yeah, Morgan Wallen's, top 2 and he's not 2, for
Right.
entertainment wise. I agree. He's a great entertainer, but and I have, nothing, I have no beef with Morgan Wallen in any
Oh,
way,
that's
but
not how the headline's gonna read.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Hank Williams Jr. says gay guitar pickers don't turn me on, and that's how I see it.
Oh shit!
I'm trying to repeat that, but I'm going to do that in my head.
I mean, hey, that's a good song too, Dinosaur. That's a Hank Jr. man. Come on. I mean, and no hate, everyone's got their own thing
Oh, of
going
course,
on, but for me, not my cup of tea.
I have my top 5. What's crazy is there's times my top 5 albums don't even have country music in it.
Yeah, fair point.
But then there's times where I would throw a Johnny Cash album could reach my top 5 depending on how I kind of feel. They all hover in that 10 that top 10 here. But
yeah.
what's your burning question you're thinking of right now? I mean, where's your head
So
at right now?
I was ready to move the conversation on. So if there's any other,
Thought we're gonna have a brawl for the first time right here.
No,
Yeah. no.
I just wanted to get that out
before we
there.
get canceled by Morgan and
Hey, we're canceling cancel culture right now.
Hey, like I said, no hate. I have
Right,
no hate. Morgan
right.
Wallen, if you're listening to this, man, you're a lot more badass than I'll ever be. That's the truth on it. I'm just
I know, we're
you're
gonna
not my
start
cup of tea, man.
Isaac Durst and Morgan Wallen beef right now.
Isaac certainly is coming out of a shell.
Yeah.
So
Hey, man.
we started where he was a little bit nervous, but
I'm
he
always
certainly
nervous.
is getting a little bit more comfortable with us. But I kind of want to turn the conversation to focus on you a little bit more, and I want our listeners, which the 3 that actually listen to our podcast, thank you 3. But those 3, I want them to learn a little bit more about you. So from an artistry standpoint, from an onstage standpoint, what would you explain, or how would you kind of characterize you on stage, the full band together? What are people going to expect tonight as they show up here to Cruisins in West Peoria?
I mean, high energy. I always try and, no matter if I'm, sick or healthy or, whatever's going on, I always try and put everything that I have on stage. I come from, being an athlete, my whole life. And so
What did you play? What sports?
I was a hockey player.
Hockey.
Oh
Really?
shit.
Yeah. So I played since I was 7. I did, competitive travel, and now I just golf for fun, and I play men's league hockey and tried basketball when I was younger. I was a huge D Brown fan, big Illinois fan. So
Do you putt with the Happy Gilmore stick?
no, but they do have hockey. They do have like hockey shafts that you can put, and you
Yeah.
can I think they
You gotta
mold
do
it
it.
with a putter. And I was thinking about doing it to one of my old sticks just for fun. But I put with oh dude, I don't even know what it's called. I got it from Illini Golf for like $75-$80, and it's it might be an Odyssey putter. It's super nice. It's not a Scotty Cameron by any means, but it's still.
Well, you sell out this room, or you get up there into the 5
That's
and
true. I've seen it.
700. Wayne loves gifting Scotties.
I've seen it,
Seriously,
yeah.
you're joking.
That's what
Yeah.
we gave Lily. We gave Lily one.
I was there for that.
Goodness.
Mitchell still uses his. Bailey uses his Scotty. It's still in his bag.
Those are awesome.
I think we gave. I don't know that we gave Hardy one. I'm trying to think of who else we gave one that still uses it to this day. But yeah, Wayne loves doing that stuff, and they're like rare ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know
That's
if I
awesome.
own like a name brand club. So my golf, which is not very good anyway, but I bought a nice bag, just the bag. It looks nice, right?
Yeah.
And then I got Goodwill clubs in there and just filled it up that way. So it looks like I've got a, decent, set based off the bag, but the clubs are just whatever I found at Goodwill.
I started out with garage
Yeah.
sale clubs too. They were
Yeah.
like Wilsons. They were like
Yeah.
$10
Oh, yeah.
for a whole set, and then I upgraded recently to these Ping I2s, which are just like really retro ping clubs that I got for like the whole set for maybe like $300, and those have been awesome. I have my bag and my clubs in the truck because
ready to roll.
Yeah, well, I drive an OBS, and it doesn't have a seat latch for the driver's seat, so the seat will fold back if I lean back. So I got golf clubs holding me up right now.
That's awesome.
Have you ever hit a hole in one?
I have not, dude. I'm like I don't even know if I can break 90. I'm not a good golfer by any means. I hit good. I'm like a 1 every 5 shots type of guy. That's like I'll hit a really good shot every 5 shots.
Oh yeah.
And that's about it. I'm a lefty, so I got that huge lefty slice on me, and that's hard to change and to, I guess, improve.
So who do you have opening for you tonight?
Yeah, so we got Electric Koi Pond. So Jessen Steele is the lead singer of that band. He's a good friend of mine. He moved here to town from Denver, Colorado, and he did stuff with. There's a guy out there. His name's Shane. I don't know his last name, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got like 799,000 followers on TikTok, like just massive following. And Jessen makes like Mac Miller type music, and like if you know who Dominic Fike is, he makes that kind of stuff. So not even close to country on spectrum, but they bring out a good crowd. They're actually really good. Jessen's a great singer, and I like the guys. I've hung out with them for a couple weeks now, and Jessen's a hockey guy. We play together, and we're gonna go snowboarding here in April together out in Denver, and so he's a good friend of mine. So that's really what I try and do when I get openers. I try and get people that know a lot of people and get people out to shows and just talented folks.
Where are you going out in Denver? Do you know?
I have no clue. He hasn't told us yet, but he said we're gonna get some big resort out there. I don't know. I've never been snowboarding anywhere outside of like northern Illinois, close to Iowa, like Quad Cities in Wisconsin.
Chestnut and
Chestnut
one
and
up in Galena.
Cascade.
Yeah.
When you learn how to snowboard on like ice, essentially,
Yeah.
when you go out there, you're such a better snowboarder.
Dude,
You
yeah.
are. So I lived in Colorado. I lived in Colorado Springs. I was at the Air Force Academy for 4 years when I was in the Air Force, and almost every weekend in the winter, not every weekend, but a lot, we would go up to Breckenridge. Breckenridge was the one I really enjoyed. And
I've heard a lot about Vail as well.
Vail is a little bit bigger, a little bit more expensive, kind of that higher end. I mean, you got to be prepared to go to Vail. Breckenridge, which for my snowboarding, which is not very good, Breckenridge, would still let me come in and still would take my money and allow me to go down the mountains.
Were you hitting like double black diamonds? Or
Oh,
like,
no.
What do
Oh,
we...
no. Goodness. I'm on like the little bunny
Come
hills.
on, you were good at snowboarding.
I mean, it finally clicked. So snowboarding is one of those where, I mean, for me anyway, it didn't click right away. once it clicks, it kind of sets in, and you figure out, your toes and your heels. But until then, I mean, you can hurt yourself. I mean,
But it's back to his quote earlier. You just got to be an athlete.
well,
right?
that's true. I mean, he's a hockey player. He's
balance,
used to
right?
being on skates and all that, so he probably just gets up and goes. But
Well,
It clicked in mine. It clicked in mine. I was
Really?
pretty good right out of the gate.
yeah,
Took me
it
2
took me a little
hours.
while. I legit have sat down on my snowboard at the top of a Breckenridge mountain and just sledded down when I just had gotten frustrated enough. And then it clicked, and then I was able to, kind of do the Z back and forth down the mountain,
When
and
you
then
got
you
to
starting
you
to
got to
figure that out.
handle it, and that's where I think a lot of people fuck up early on is the fact that they aren't like aggressive, like somewhat aggressive with their moves.
Yeah.
And if you're kind of timid on a snowboard, next thing you know, you get zipping down fast, then you just eat shit.
And I
Can't
don't have
steer it.
great knees. That's a podcast in its own. But I don't have great knees, so
Slow down, Megan. Right? Ain't
yeah.
that what they say?
So I mean, even like the
His knees
funniest
have been
thing,
used.
yeah, the funniest thing that you probably ever watch would be me on a snowboard trying to come off of the lift chair.
Oh,
know,
no.
That is a bitch.
Hey,
you could
you want to
sit
know the
there.
key
you
to
can
that
sit there
though?
and just watch that
You
all day
stick
long.
your foot, man. You stick it right in front of that binding, and if you stick it right there, you don't stick it on the other side. Stick it closest to that back binding, and you won't fall. People have like pads and stuff too for that, but I don't. I'm trying to get one of those self clickers because I don't want to be spending my time latching myself in. I kind of like I want to try and hit the park. That'll be the first thing that I do when I go out there is hit all the rails and stuff because it looks easy on the videos. I know it's probably not, so I want to kind of embarrass myself.
Oh yeah.
Will you take guitar and everything out? Will you go play music out there at all, or are you just going out for strictly fun?
It'll be both. So
Okay.
we're gonna hit some shows. I got a female that I've kind of been talking to for the last couple weeks ish
snap.
who goes to Wyoming.
Are we announcing anything
No.
on the podcast today? Or?
No, she's a friend. She looks out for me. She tells me what I'm doing in my life that I shouldn't be doing, and she kind of keeps me straight. She's cool, man. She's very honest. And yeah, just all around, just super cool, super fun to be around, and but she's gonna help get me a show out in Wyoming hopefully, and then Jessen's gonna get me some shows in Denver because he played there for a bunch of years, and we're gonna just go around, do our own little thing. I might have to sing some blues or some indie, but I'll sing whatever. I like country music, but I'll sing whatever. So
So let's talk about Tailgate and Tallboys.
yeah, man, that's
So you got the phone call or an email, text, whatever it was.
actually it was Ducks. Believe it or not.
Really?
I was sitting in there watching a basketball game, and Wayne come up to me, and he was like, "Hey, I need to tell you something." And he pulled me over to this table with like this large buffet of wings, and he was like, "You're playing Tailgate and Tallboys this year," and I was like, "Dude, there's no way." And last year, dude, I got a funny story about that because last year I went to this big old tailgate. It was like at Tailgate, I was camping out, and I was at. Shout out to the people with the 2 trailers. You know who you are if you're watching this podcast at all. You guys are loved, and you guys threw some banging parties last year camping out, which I will be
Out in the
camping out
campground?
again.
Oh, absolutely.
All I remember is Bailey Zimmerman came out to this party, and I came after he left. He left on this golf cart. Everyone had already gone over there to see him and hang out with him, and his brother stuck around and played Pong against my friend or something like that. And so I go over there, and Wayne's over there with some people, and he comes up to me, and I don't know if he'd been drinking or I really don't know, and I'm not gonna say that on the podcast. So don't maybe edit that one out.
Don't edit that out. Fuck Wayne.
No, I like
He was
Wayne,
for
man.
sure. What time was it?
It was
Edit that
midnight,
out.
maybe
Yeah.
2, 3
Oh,
a.m.
he
He might have been slightly doobied up, but
There we
I like Wayne. I like
Call it what
Wayne.
it is.
that
We
out.
all love Wayne.
But anyways, so he comes up to me. He's got like 2 joints in his hands,
There we go.
and he's like, "Hey man, Isaac, go grab your guitar." And I was like, because I had it on me, I keep it on. I was playing at campsites, just kind of fucking around. And he was like, "Bro, grab your guitar." And I was like, no, because I hated. So in high school, I would come out to parties, and I was the guy who'd bring the guitar out to the parties and kill the vibe. I'd start playing my guitar, and my senior year at least. So much to the fact to where I got the nickname Rang-a-Dang-Dang from my Lake Camelot friends. And now it's the name of my private story on Snapchat. It's I kind of just owned it. But I was known for killing parties by pulling out the guitar because the music would turn off and everyone would leave and be like, hey, who is this kid playing, whatever, because I was really bad back then. So I just didn't want to do that, and he was telling me, he was like, well, dude, I'll pay you if you come and play. And I was like, all right, fine. And then after I get done, he's like, Isaac, you're playing Tailgate Tallboys next year. Hope you know that. And I was like, okay, he's hammered. He's not, like, I'm not going to take that, as ultimate truth. But I'm just going to hold it in the back of my head. And I remember I was drunk too. And so I told my friend who I was staying with, I was like, bro, Wayne said I'm playing Tailgate next year. And I didn't think it was actually going to happen. And then Ducks happened and found out we're playing. And, it's just surreal. I mean, that's the first bucket list, kind of notch that I want to slide off in music. And, I've been going for, 4 or 5 years now. And it's just crazy, to have my name up there on the same list as some guys that I've been looking up to for years, guys that I've paid to go see in concert, is just, it's very surreal, and it's like Co-Wetzel, Treaty Oak Revival, Cody Johnson, I drove 6 hours, to see him in Cape Girardeau.
What day are you on?
Day 1. So we're opening up for Gavin and Old 60, like just a monster list. Like,
so your Thursday night in Bloomington.
Yeah.
Thursday night in Bloomington,
Well, it'll
Tailgate
be
and
day,
Tallboys.
June 12th.
Because I'm the first. I'm like popping the cherry of the whole festival.
3, like gates open 4 p.m.
Yeah, like I'm popping the cherry of the whole festival, which is kind of intimidating.
That is crazy.
But I
if
did
you
that
think about
for
it that way.
I did it for Backroads.
Yeah.
We played Galva, big festival. I opened for Lone Star, Diamond Rio, and Trace Atkins, and I was the first act of the entire festival too. So, that was nuts.
Wayne has found a liking for you, because I remember, he's brought your name up a bunch of different times. Hey, by the way, Isaac Durst is going to open for whoever. Hey, Isaac Durst. I'm like, who the fuck is this Isaac Durst dude? I'm like,
I don't blame you,
like,
man. I suck, right?
I was no. I didn't know at the time, but Wayne just kept bringing you up of like, hey, Isaac Durst this, but it also, I think it goes to you messaging Wayne, staying on top of it, because that is one that is not easy, because that man, as far as responding back and getting to it, where, I'm in group text with multiple people that they reach out to us. I put them in contact, and then I'm like, this is now your opportunity. And people are constantly, hey, still haven't heard back. When can I open a show? Hey, when can I play Cruisins? When can I play Cruisins? And so for you to do that, to grab his attention, dude, it's
just being annoying, man. Like, I messaged Wayne about Zach Top 2 months straight. 2 months straight, like every day, pretty much, or at least every week, texting him, hey, man, I want to open for Zach. Like, how do I open for Zach? Blah, 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 until it finally got to the point where he was like, okay, I'll message his team and see if you can. And then thankfully I was able to. Same with Sammy Kershaw. I was like, Sammy Kershaw came into town. I was like, dude, like, Cadillac style, like I grew up on that, so like I want to open. I did the same with Paul Cawthon. I kind of laid off the horn with that because I'm assuming Paul's got his own guys, but my good buddy's a huge Paul Cawthon fan, so I was like, it'd be really cool to open for Paul. But
you got to do that, because at the end of the day, you message a couple times, you get told no. Weeks go by. In our eyes, now I'm like, hey, they need an opener. You're out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But if you would just text a day before, you're the first name that's going to come up of, hey, we need somebody kind of short. And that's how that stuff always happens. So props to you on honestly doing that. And it takes a lot, because you have to be just annoying as fuck.
It's just how much do you want it, And this is all I've ever wanted. It's all, people have told me in the past, you should probably stick to music because that's what you're good at, and when it comes to jobs. Like, I've lost a job because I was bad at doing it. He's like, dude, you should just stick to music.
So and I've got a similar story too, real quick, that so I had met you but didn't know that you were Isaac Durst. I had known your name from, my son met you at Guitar Center one time, and we talked about that off camera. He was talking about Isaac Durst, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen Isaac Durst or know who he is. Well, come to find out, I was here for the night Sevy was here, who's a friend of ours and been on the podcast before too.
Nuts singer.
And just has a
shout out Sevy.
Yes,
shout out
an amazing
Sevy.
voice,
You're awesome.
And we love Sevy. Hopefully he's back here in Peoria before too long as well. After Sevy's show, I think we were getting ready to go over to Ducks or do something, across the street, and your truck's right there, and you and Sevy are sitting legit. The whole thought of the Tailgate Beers concept happened right there in the middle of the parking lot. We've got Farmington Road here. We've got cars flying by us. You and Sevy were sitting on the tailgate, essentially, or eventually got your acoustics out. You guys are just playing songs together. You're taking turns on choruses. And then I find out probably a month later, oh, yeah, that's Isaac Durst. And so I put, face to name and all of that. But that was just a fun, amazing opportunity, I'm sure.
I had a blast.
But just, for all of us just to sit there and stand around. There was probably 6 or 7 of us just sitting there listening.
I think Evan was there,
Yeah.
a couple other people. I mean, I'm not big on the whole social media. I'm terrible at posting at social media. My apologies, by the way, if my Facebook followers or TikTok or anybody out there seeing this video, I'm terrible at posting videos, and terrible at posting content. I get lazy, But when it comes to connections, the biggest success I've had is showing up to shows, talking to the guys before at soundcheck, being like, hey man, I'm a local artist, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I'd love to jam with you after the show. I'd love to get to know how you did how you got into this, the pros and the cons of, and kind of the struggles that you've gone through over the years. I mean, that's what happened with Braxton Keith. I was at that show in Boondocks in Springfield. Shout out Braxton Keith real quick. BK, you're awesome, man. I was at that show and I met some musician who opened for me at the Christmas show, and we jammed on his tailgate after the show, and I was playing my original song Bouquet, and Braxton stopped what he was doing, came over and listened, and I was like, hey man, would you play a song with me? And we played, we cut Don't Close Your Eyes, Keith Whitley, and posted on social media, and now it's sitting on, I think, 60K, maybe 70K views, 10K likes. I mean, it's been probably my best video that I've posted in, years. And it's just it's little stuff like that, getting contacts. I did it with Ben Chapman when he played here at Cruisins 2 years ago. We played Lady May after the show. Sevy, another name.
And you were at Austin Snell, too. I think I saw you here.
Yeah.
Austin Snell night.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of left because I got too drunk, which that's another issue, man. I need to calm it on the drinking. I'm not, the smartest when it comes to all of that, but
it happens to all of us.
Oh yeah.
But dude, I don't want to interrupt y'all. I'm a talker. I yap, I guess.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
The deal with me as a musician, and I'll come to say I'm not the most country person, and I'm gonna be honest, open and authentic. I like to fish, I'm trying to get into hunting. My papa and my uncle, they were big hunters, My uncle moved away before I could ever learn, and my papa lost his memory, so I didn't get to learn any of that stuff. But
Deer, waterfowl.
Deer. My cousin-in-law is a big waterfowl hunter. Weston Munger, shout out if you're watching this video, dude. I love you, man. You're awesome, and probably one of the most badass hunters / fishermen that I've ever met in my life. This dude is raking him in. He's just awesome, and he taught me. He's actually supposed to teach me how to fly fish here in the next couple of years, but he's just awesome from Arkansas.
That in Colorado. We got some great places out there to do that.
Well, my great grandpa was a big fly fisher. He'd make his own lures. But yeah, back to what it is, man. I'm just trying to make my family proud, make my grandpa proud. He used to hate it when I called him grandpa. He's like, don't call me grandpa, call me pawpaw. He just hated it. And he'd always call me Izzy. He'd say, is he a boy or is he a girl when I was younger, and just kind of gave me shit. And I love him. I miss him. He passed away in 2020, and that was rough. But from someone, he lost his memory and was in the nursing home, and an Alan Jackson tune came on the radio, and he remembered the song as far as my memory goes. And it was just it's just nuts to me how country music and just music in general can jog someone's memory. And for someone like him who loved music so much, I'm just here to make him proud, and I'm here to make my family proud, and I'm here to carry on the family tradition. Even though he wasn't a gigging musician like I am, I feel like my big thing with being a country fan and a country musician is I want to keep country as pure as possible, because he listened to the purest of country. And so I'm not here to say that I'm some big redneck and all this other stuff. I'm just a kid that grew up in the suburbs for the most part, who loves country music, who's just trying to do his papa proud. And that's what I want everyone to know from this podcast is I don't claim to be countryer than you. I don't claim to be countryer than this person or that person. I'm just trying to make my family proud and enjoy it, you know. So that's a big part about what I do and why I do it.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. Here's the Paw man. We haven't
agree
had a
with that.
cheers.
Cheers,
Yet.
Paw
agree with
Steve,
that.
right? Yep.
Thanks for doing this, dude. That's it's a lot to see, you know, people you love like that go, and especially, you know, you were younger, but, you know, knowing that then they, you know, go into the nursing home, they're not the same, you know, dealing with that. But
I mean, he had it coming too.
yeah, but
You
dude,
know, as much as I love him.
we appreciate you playing here. We appreciate all the work you've been putting in, and man, I hope someday you started off, you know, first time played, sold X amount of tickets, and, you know, here and hopefully even this year after Tailgate, maybe you sell 300 tickets.
We got to
and
get
then-
that up around here because that's been an issue too, selling tickets. We don't get a lot of people out to shows. Just like, man, am I really that bad? Like,
No, I think it's a process. So we talked about that with lots of artists. They even come here. I mean,
Paul Cawthon, which, by the way, I was just looking. So, I mean, we got to remind Wayne, I mean, he does not have an opener.
no, he doesn't.
He does
Tell
not.
Wayne, let me open for Mr. Cocaine
Well,
Country Dancing,
This
please.
is gonna drop 3 days before
Please.
Paul Cawthon. But all I'm saying is let's follow up. Definitely not tonight, but follow up tomorrow on it. But there's a guy who the first time he played, how many tickets do you think Paul Cawthon sold?
Shoot, probably not a lot. I mean, Tyler Childers was playing bars of what? 10, 5, maybe
Paul Cawthon
2
sold,
people.
like one ticket, like one ticket, and then the next time he sold it out.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, I just don't know what my success is going to be. And at the end of the day, as much as I would love success in this industry, I'm kind of scared to get it because I'm not prepared. I'm not mentally there. And with fame comes stress. And I've heard a lot of horror stories from people that weren't ready and it hit them and they couldn't handle it. You know, I mean, I was in, you know, a management group with a guy that was, you know, on his bedside with a 9mm to his head because he couldn't handle it. You know, like, and I've heard the stories. I've talked to people that it's more real than you think it is. It's not just entertainment.
I really think just keeping a good group around you, and this could be said in like life now where you're at or later. Have friends that will look at you and go, "Hey man, you're being a fucking idiot." Like, "Hey, I don't care who you are, dude. You need to be careful." You know, I think that's sometimes why him and I are such good friends.
he
And
said
even,
that
you know,
maybe
even
yesterday to me.
and literally, like, seriously, like, hey, I've been there and I do some dumb shit. I mean, me and Wayne get into some serious shit, but I think having friends that will really truly look at you and a team, no matter how big you get, having those friends that look and be like, hey, dude, you're not that fucking big. Don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, don't say racial slurs. Don't throw chairs, and you'll probably be fine, man.
Okay, yeah, we should probably cut that one out. Anyways, no, it's
No, dude, just be who you are, and
just loving it.
dude, enjoy the ride. I think it's even comparable to like having kids or a job or where you're at. Just enjoy the moment and each chapter of where you're at.
Yeah.
The stress that comes with it, and I don't know. I think
It's
it'll be
just-
fine.
It's weird being in a place to where I know a lot of people that have made it and know a lot of people that are doing the thing or, you know, are some of the biggest. Like I got some people on my phone that are at the top of country music right now, but no one knows who the hell I am. So it's like, it doesn't matter. But it's like, it's just cool to see how small your network gets in music and country music in general. Like people that you think are so far reach are maybe one connection away, you know, and that's the cool thing about this industry is, you know, I could play a Tailgate and some agent sees me and, you know, the next week I'm out on tour opening up for someone, which that would be awesome. Booking agents or, you know, tour managers, if you're listening to this, I definitely need one right now. So help a brother out
Let's make
here.
it happen.
Yeah, but I love it, man. I haven't wanted anything more than I've wanted this. And I've been doing it for 5-6 years now, and it's just putting in the work and starting to see the work finally, you know, pay off. And it hasn't paid off all the way, but it's starting to show its, you know, colors, I guess.
Tailgate Beers, Austin and Ryan here. We've been sitting down with Isaac Durst here from Peoria, Illinois. Somebody that's certainly involved in the music scene in Central Illinois. Branching out from there, playing Tailgate and Tallboys. We learned a lot about you, and really, Austin and I both, want to thank you for spending the time with us. But then also, talking about some of the vulnerable stuff and the communication or the conversations we've had today, and really what drives you, family man, living on some legacies there, which are I mean, just gut wrenching, but also at the same time, things that make you you. So.
Yeah.
I think we do a cheers here. We've got our White Oak Brewing. Yep.
Oh, I don't have one of those. I still
That's
got
all
my
right.
Surfside.
But yeah,
shout
these
out
guys,
Surfside.
These guys also provide some beers to us on set as well, so I'm going to give a shout out to them.
Shout out Coors Banquet too as well.
There you go.
It's my beer of choice
Love a banquet.
if any venues are seeing this right now and I somehow get some type of start, I do like Coors Banquet.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
my beer of choice. They actually ship it over here sometimes when I play from Ducks, just so I can have some.
I'm
And
sure
it's awesome.
they'll figure that out.
It makes me feel like a king,
Well, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for sitting down and spending the time. Looking forward to seeing you on stage tonight.
Hey, man, I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Thank you once again for
Thanks,
having
man.
me, y'all.
Thank you.